Alrighty, here we are, Doc from North America. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Another fun-filled day. It's a day before TGIF. I look forward to that. All right, we got so many more plants to plant, and the weather looks like it's holding up nice here. I always think of Polina, and I think, well, thank goodness we're not using a scarf at this point of the year. So, anyhow, here we are, and here we go. And I'm trying to get my microphone a little bit freer. Hold on a second. There's that. Boy, it's all tangled up. There. Oh, that's a much better. That's a much better. Gomez again. All right. Let's see now. Let's check the chat line. See what's going on there. And as you can see, we're starting off with the dollar against the Swiss. Chat line. Where are you? Chat line. There we go. And click the doodah. And there it is. And let's see if we have some sound. Make sure our sound is good. There we go. The charts look right. Yes, it is. Okay, there we go. All right, now, dollar going down. There we go. After 3 days, it's pushing back down again. We do have lots of strange movement in strange directions anymore. But that's what it is. And so, we knew that this was kind of the dollar, kind of a little surprised that it was getting some strength like that, but I guess, you got to take profits. And there was some good profit taking, I'm sure, and that's where we are at the moment. And let's see, let's grab a hold of that mouse there so we can move things around. And you can see on, where's that? Let's fix the fact check spreadsheet right there. You can see on, now what did I do? Upload, all right, let's get rid of that. And then we can cancel it. There we go. And you can see here on line 21, 4 weeks in a sell, 4 days in a buy, and you can see now it is flirting. You don't see the white line piercing, but you do see, is that it right there? No, that's the dollar index itself. See the dollar index slipped into the sell yesterday. And let's see, let's find the other mouse. Let's put the Swiss up there. There it is right there. And you can see the same situation there is that it was in that volatility state where it's red and green, so we can't confirm it until about an hour after trading starting off last night. And you can see here it's into the sell now. And we're in the weekly. You can see the weekly has not had, I think we talked about this yesterday. The white line wasn't even touching this bottom, or let's, right here, the bottom line. Let's see if we can point that out right there, that bottom line of the weekly. Was not touching that. It was still well below it. It was telling us that this is a temporary move. Now, if the white line pierces this right here, that yellow line right there, the negative side of our linear time manifold, basically that says to us that there's some strength coming into this product. And we can go back and look at past the situations in the same way. See, when the white line pierces right there, starts in you can see in this case here, it tries to lift up, a little profit taking off that nice big day right there, and then you can see that was back in December of 2020. You can see there it tries to lift up and fails, and you can see that it keeps on selling off, and then when we get into a daily buy, it's only short-term strength again, just like what just occurred, 4 days of strength, and the white line is still well below the the negative nonlinear time manifold, or the yellow line right there, and choose your whatever you want to call it. In the end result, the yellow line is not being pierced, but then when it is pierced, we start to build strength, and then you can see not only 4 days, but it comes up with another 4 days of value after a little correction here of just the 1 day. And then we slip into a weekly buy, and you can see the product does exactly that. It changes the trend overall on a week-to-week basis to being up, running from 89 all the way to up into the 94-ish area, going beyond the 94-ish, and vice versa. Here it is now. We went into the weekly sell here, and that white line could not turn, so we knew that this was a half a life, or a very short half life, right there. Alas, hey, what's happening? I am fine, thank you. Thank you for asking. How are you? Yes, indeed. All good here. All good in the hood. All good in the hood. Yes, indeed. I was listening to some rap music before this, and at the same time doing lots of math and torturing the physics world at the same time. And then doing the financial world. Doing all of it. We do it all here. Yes, we do. All right. Who says someone from a six schoolroom grade school cannot generate some good ideas? All right. So that's where we are with the Swiss and the dollar. Well, I'm glad. Glad all is cool. You know, I mean, it's a nice. We're almost at the end of the week. Life is moving along as usual. Obviously, problems here and there. We had somebody here at the farm fall off the back of a truck, and they're in a wheelchair now. They've sprained something, and so there's always something going on. I mean, not that life is ever easy. It's just that we wake up every day hoping that it is better than the day before. That's what it always comes down to around here. So, life is never easy. It doesn't matter if you're making €30 a year or if you're making 30 million euro a year. I guarantee you, everybody has a complaint. All right, let's check this out. We go over to the euro. Speaking of euro, and you can see here, it's trying. It really is trying. And you can see this correction in the 4 days it was going on here. And, it caught the sell there, and it didn't really go too far down. It was all that one day there. That was that crazy Friday of switching from April to May. I'm assuming that, not the contract, just I'm assuming end of the month, someone unwound something at the end of the month. That was pretty much what it all came down to. May I ask a question? You can have 12 questions. It's cheaper by the dozen. About the top charting platforms for Forex trading, please. Okay, sure. So what you want to know is, let's see if I can understand that. May I ask a question about top charting platforms for Forex trading? Well, J4X does a fine job. You can see here we have it as a good example. We'll put the euro in there as an example right there. Now, it all comes down to defining what you mean by trading. In other words, time frame wise. Are you talking about like intraday trading or looking at it over a week-to-week basis or a day-to-day basis or an hourly basis? I myself use J4X right here. J4X has its attributes that I enjoy. We have our own indicator here that is a public indicator that you can emulate and put on there just like we have there right now. Looking down at the, can you see the little dotted line? It does seem to be a little darker. Let me see if we can change the color to that or something. It does, I'm looking at it and I can see the little dotted line is just not, let's see, edit indicator. And maybe what we should do is make that more yellowish. Let's see, output, advent. Okay, so if we go like this, make it even more yellowish like that. Let's see how that goes. Is that clearer on the screen? Let's see if that does that. Yeah, it's a little bit clearer, isn't it? The dotted line. And in many ways, I guess we should make it almost like a yellow line. But maybe we'll work on that. This is good. This works real well. It's a good tool. Here's a daily. It shows you the action to it. We have, what do we have on the bottom? I think we have I think you can see it right there. We have on the bottom, we have the MACD, I guess it is. Some of the traders around here, like Daniel, like to follow the MACD combined with other things. So, let's see, I use J4X as well. That's good. I use multi-charts. Multi-charts is, I've been using multi-charts. Or what it is that I was a beta tester for the cruises back in 89, 90, something like that. And so that's TradeStation. And TradeStation had easy language, which gave me opportunity to write my code into it. And I didn't tell anybody about that, but I had my code written into the easy language itself. And so throughout the decades, I've had an automated side of this that no one knew about. But now you can see we've mutated my mathematics into much more Gauss Euler type of universe, and you can see it there with the lines and it reads it, and it's so much easier than having to just throw numbers up every day. And so multi-charts is a good tool, and it's okay. What's this? I think you can get it for $1,000 US. A lifelong, uh, lifelong license to use it. It's okay. I mean, do I love it? It's okay. It works. What's really the key there is I gotta C plus, or I gotta program my mathematics into Python, and I just don't get around to it. I'm just doing too many things. There are probably cheaper tools out there. Matter of fact, AMP offers multi-charts for free, but it doesn't have the easy language in it. You have to do it in C plus or Python. And so, there are brokerage houses that will actually give you this software for free as long as you trade through them. Like I said, but in the end result is that, J4X, you can use this combination here, and I mean, you're not going to have my math to begin with. Now, if you have your own math and you want to do your own programming, yeah, I would say go out and buy an expensive software. I think that's kind of like the answer to it all. And so, what it really comes down to is it's a kind of a backward situation with me. I'm using multi-charts, and I have a copy of TradeStation still since I have the 2000i, and I use both of those. And that's because I can use the easy language to program with. If you're not programming your own indicators and code into it, then it's a waste of money to go and use them. J4X and other brokers will offer you softwares, or Dukascopy and other brokers will offer you software that you can use publicly. Use the public indicators like we do right here with J4X. And so we're using a slow stochastics with a fast stochastics. I don't really pay attention to the MACD too much. I watch it to learn from it, but I find it as a lagging indicator. I don't find it as a leading indicator. It may confirm. I use the purple dot lines. That's the CCI. I like to look at that as strength, and you can tell due to the fact that it's hanging. Let's just show you an example of this. See how it's hanging way up at the top on the. Wait a minute. What's wrong with this? I guess it's not commingled anymore. It used to. I had it working where it followed the two of them. So instead, it's just using this band right here, and it's hanging out at the top, showing a lot of strength here. But the real key is the slow and fast moving stochastic. We like to use a relativic. Well, no, we're not doing anything to our family members, cousins, and so forth. We're not dating them, but we like to use a view of the difference between different spatial objects. That's what we like. Okay, so if you're going to do coding, I suggest yes, you get yourself a different software. But if you're not going to do any coding, any software coding, then I'd say you just stay with J4X or anything else a broker offers you. That's what it really comes down to. And that's really comes down to it, less. Are you into coding? Is that what it is? You want to code your own code? Your own indicator? Put your own proprietary indicator into a system? Is that what you're suggesting you're interested in doing? Or you're looking for a software that's going to do the work? And you're going to use the indicators on that software. And so I guess the question really comes down to is, are there any better, I need to code my algorithmic trading as well. Okay, then you need to find a software that you can code it in. If you're doing it in C++, I bet you could do it in J4X, and you could do it in any other program, because most of these programs allow you to code. I coded something in J4X. You can go on to the contests and DocDow and the programs. So you can code in this. You can write code into the J4X. So I think that's part of the answer there. I won. I came in like first, second, and third, and fourth, and fifth, and sixth, and seventh, and 10th from some of the coding things that we've done. I may not have won a first. I've won a few seconds. I've won thirds and so forth, and fifths and so forth. I haven't run them in a long while, but they're there to be seen. They're publicly seen. I commingled candlesticks with. What did I commingle them with? I did not commingle them with the slow and fast-moving stochastic. And I keep on meaning to go back to that and try to commingle that into the code. But I haven't found the time to do that either. I've got a lot of things going on. And so, not counting trying to put some plants in before the season starts to generate. I need to get those plants in by the end of this weekend because the agricultural season around here is starting. So there's not enough time in the day for me to do a lot of things. But yeah, you can do coding with J4X because I have. And so and you'll get support from Dukascopy at the same time. And I don't know if I have AMP and it allows me to have multi-charts for free. But the problem is that they will not help me code my C+ or Python into it. So it's kind of irrelevant, really, that I have it for free. Because I don't have the time to go change all my coding. So that's what that is all about. I hope that answered your question. And you have 11 more questions, because that was just one question. You have 11 more questions if you want to ask any more questions. Go for it. All right, where are we at? We're looking at Euro, and you can chime in as I go through whatever I'm looking at. And if you want to see any particular product, you can chime in on that. Ask the question, and we'll go after that. That's no problem at all. All right, now where are we at? Oh, let's go to the cable. I saw the headline on J4X too, where they said that the the exchequer in England did something. So let's see where cable is right now. It looks flat to me. I didn't see anything particular going on. It's trying to get into a daily buy right here. You can see the line had blown up and through. And let's put it up on J4X at the same time. See how it's being interpreted through our slow and fast moving stochastics. It's that spatial thing. Hey, no problem. We're here to explore any idea. That's what it really comes down to. When someone asks a question, we're exploring an idea altogether. And from that, we never know what we may learn from that, all of us, myself included. So you ask a question, and now we go and explore that question. And it's not as much as that we're answering the question as much as we're exploring it and trying to interpret what we can garner from it. How's that? Does that sound heady or what? Crazy here. That's who I am. That's why we used to play that song until we do these things on YouTube. Used to love playing. It might sound a bit crazy. Was it Happy? I guess it was the song Happy. We used to love playing that just for that alone. So it might sound a bit crazy what we're about to say. I think that's what we used to say about it all. All right, and you can see here the cable is still through. The white line is through the dotted line right there. You can see that. And you can see that it's trying to, I can see now on the screen that dotted line is not exactly as clear as I thought it is. We may have to make that brighter. And we may have to do some of these thicker too. Let's do this. Let's see if we can do this. Edit and that. Let's see. Outputs. See if we can increase that thickness. Up there. Is it the weight? How do we increase the weight of that? The width? Style? Weight? Oh, there it is. Let's see what that does. Oh yeah, that's a lot clearer, isn't it? Wait till you see this. Maybe we can do the same thing with the dotted line and it'll emphasize it. Look at that. Now that's much clearer. Now if we go like this to the dotted line, edit indicator, wonder if we can output and we'll see if we can increase that to 3 and see what that does. Oh, that's much better. Let's see how that shows up. Yeah, we had a good conversation. Was that yesterday? I had a really good conversation about it. I was talking about Dolly, the cloned sheep, and I was talking about Home Shopping Network back in the mid '80s, and when it was floated as a IPO. You might want to listen to yesterday's webinar about that, and I'll give everybody just a flavor of what we're talking about here, and that is when looking at the cryptos, oh, and doesn't that look better on the screen, guys and gals? Doesn't that look better? Now you can really see the interpretation that we've been following. Because this is what we're really following out of it all. I mean, we look at this as strength. Matter of fact, we could probably remove the CCI altogether. Remove indicator. There we go. And Daniel has the MACD on there. They're both lagging indicators as far as I'm concerned. So I guess if we go like this, no, I guess not. We go like that. Or is it? Do we lift it up? Like that. I guess that's what it is. And you'll be able to see the MACD a little bit better, maybe. Let's see. I guess that's what it is right there. See, we like the idea of being able to see R's at the same time. So in other words, we go like that a little bit more. Maybe that's it. Do that a little bit more so that you can see both of them at the same time. We want to look at this and we want to look at that. And so, there we go. So that's the answer to that. Okay, so Les says, what about Bitcoin and the dollar? Is the price real? As far as I'm concerned, it is real because there's a bid and there's an offer. And let's take a look at that. J4X has it, so we'll go there and look at it, Bitcoin. And what it does is, I was using analogies of Dolly, the cloned sheep, and Home Shopping Network. Now, for some of you out there, they must be saying like, what in the heck is he talking about? Dolly, the cloned sheep, and Home Shopping Network? What, you know, where is this guy's head at? Oh no, middle age, I don't mean that. I'm so sorry. Let's go up there. You're in line. So you may be first. So I am so sorry. Let's go up there and see what it is. I don't see it. It's not up there. It's not on the chat line. Middle age. I'm looking now for it. There it is. I see it. It's right after the Bitcoin. Middle age muscle. You skipped my post at the top. It's not there. It's not on the. I'm looking. I only see 2 posts from you. No, I only see 1 post from you. James is underneath. No, it never made it to the chat line. Post it again. Let's see what you're asking. And what's James saying? Hi, what is the best leading indicator in your opinion? This one right here, the public one. You know, I mean, mine obviously is much better than everybody's. But as far as I'm concerned, a public one, like here's mine. You can see mine and combined with the dots and like that. That's cool. But this, James, taking the slow stochastic and the fast, the white line is the fast stochastic, and as we used to call it, algo wars here, battling with the slow stochastic. And here's the indicators. Let's show you what they are. And middle age, you got to put that back up there again because it never was. It's not on my chat line. All I see is after Les says what about Bitcoin. Then you come in and you say you skipped my post at the top. It's not there. I'm not seeing it. I got my glasses on even, and I'm not seeing it. You see, I'm just going to look one more time to make sure that I'm not crazy. Nope. You're not up there at all. You're not up there. So you got to repost that. So James, that's the answer there. That makes sense now. I don't know about that. You know, I can make mistakes like anybody else. So I could have accidentally missed it. There's a possibility. But here you go. So James, here is the fast stochastic right there, and the inputs. You know, and we're just watching the fast. I think we have the D as invisible right there. And then we're doing the same thing on the slow stochastic. We're following the fast K, the 5, and we're not watching the anything else. The rest of them are invisible. So we're looking at the 2 fasts. That's all. So right there we're looking at the fast 5-3. Well, it's really 5, and then the yellow, the dashed line is the stochastic slow, low. Okay? And we watch them battle with each other. Now you can see here the white line is just trying to reach through on the upside at the moment, and that'll straighten out. You can see ours is trying to drop through it. Oh wait a minute, no, that's not Bitcoin. That's the cable. Let's put Bitcoin up there. So I think that's, see, to me, the best leading indicator is two indicators fighting with each other. And it's I hate to call it relativic because everybody knows what I feel about the word relative. We think that's got something to do with Albert Einstein's first and second cousins. It has nothing to do with physics. Okay? And so I think that in Germany, back in those days, they were making a joke out of him. He was pretty suicidal back then, and so it was probably pretty easy to make a joke out of him. And so that's where, you know, I don't like using that word relativic because I think of it as a sexual thing. And we always, from there, what we do is we always put the picture up of him and his second cousin. Now that really looks like something normal in public someone will do with a second cousin that you live with for most of your life, for her life. And so she's sitting on his lap in the middle of all that, and you can see his face. He's obviously not wanting to answer, and obviously he has to answer her. She looks like a wife, doesn't he? Doesn't she? She looks more like a wife than she does a second cousin. And I think that's why they, remember his paper, all right, now you've really sent me off into cloud nine. Remember his paper is called, he published a paper in 1905 called The Electromagnetic Effect of Moving Bodies, or no, Moving Bodies on an Electromagnetic Field. That's his paper. It has nothing there in the title about relativity, okay? But a few years later, they change it to relative. And that's because he's now living with her and her mother, okay? And he leaves his wife and children. And so I think that they put relative in there because they were making a joke about his lifestyle. And so the whole world now calls it the relativity paper because they can mutate it into the relationship between one object and another. Whatever one you want to use, the family or whatever. But anyway, that's the end result. So that's where we are. Now let's get back to Bitcoin. maybe that's why we're talking about the cloning of Dolly. And you have to listen to yesterday's webinar. I basically expressed my opinion on, that's the wrong place to go. I expressed my opinion on Bitcoin through the two actions. One was the molecular structure and aging of the cells of Dolly, the cloned sheep, and at the same time the actual IPO of Home Shopping Network and how it did the same exact things as what we're seeing now with cryptocurrencies. How about that? That explains it pretty clearly. Now, you're welcome to ask any questions about that right now, and I'll answer them. But I think that really explains why I did why my webinar mutated into trying to define the values of, I'm going to find it here. Bitcoin's around here somewhere. Where the hell is it at? Not there. There it is. There's Bitcoin. Okay. And so, there it is right there. There's the April contract. Okay? So, oh, and where's middle age at? Middle age, oh, there is the, that makes sense now. Okay, yeah, but what was the question, middle age? You're supposed to give me the question that you put up there. What was the question? You skipped my post at the top. I want to know what the post was. I'm curious. I'm always curious. I'm an explorer. I've been brought to Earth to explore. I'm here to explore. Okay, and so James is, let's see, what's James say? So James says, so some use 14 period as fast K. I think it is. I'm not, let's see what it is. Let's put it up there again. Edit the indicator and the period. Let's see, outputs, 3 levels, advances, inputs. I don't see, I guess it's 5 and 3 really, period. It's 5 and 3. That's what we're doing. And I'm surprised I didn't use 6 and 3 You know, and went with the Nikola Tesla stuff, you know. And then the same thing with the second one. I'm surprised I'm using 5 and 3. Normally it's probably like a half spin. I'm probably doing that Newton thing. And so I'm doing like a spin, a full spin, half spin. So I probably was thinking about 5, but normally I'll use 3, 6, or 9 because of Nikola Tesla. There it is. You just send it again. Are they blocking it? I don't see it. Why don't I see it? They're not showing it. But you know what? They're not. That makes sense now. You know what? They're not putting the. They're not even putting like the dots in there. Like they're hiding it. They're not showing your post. I'm not seeing your post whatsoever. Now I've only seen 2 statements from you. One is that you skipped my post at the top. Doc, laugh out loud. And the other one is that makes sense. Oh, and there's a third one. Middle-aged muscle says I just sent it again. It's not there. You must have a word in there that's freaking it all out. And so they're not putting it up on the chat line. Oh, good. Thank you, Les. I know I'm crazy, but I didn't know if I was that crazy. Okay, so James says, are there any predictive indicators that you use order book market depth? No, but volume and market depth can be used. There's a fellow called Chris Cadbury. Used to trade with him on the Amex back in the 90s, and Chris has written a lot of work about depth and volume and open interest and stuff like that. And his work is really good work too. It really is. Let's see what we got here. I see more here. I'm not a doctor, but if you need, I have one here, 2. There we are. Okay. All right. So, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's see. You must have a word in there that's freaking it out. Yeah. So, where was I at? Oh yes, James. Yeah, so I used to have an analogy, James. You might like this. It's obviously a country analogy. In other words, a local, like myself, living on a farm, and that is that. Imagine you're hiking, and you look in the distance, and you see smoke. So you have a general idea that something is possibly on fire, but what you don't know is it a controlled fire? Is it where people are sitting around it and enjoying the fire itself? Is it a wildfire burning up woods in the distance of a half a mile away or a mile away, and you're looking out in the distance on a hill and you can see that there's smoke and there's fire, but it's not really telling you anything more than that. And so when I look at volume and open interest, they can only give you a certain amount of information, but not necessarily just because you see smoke doesn't always tell you about what the fire is. And I feel that way about volume. I don't really use volume, but I have seen volume used, like open interest in options and volume in options, and they've been very insightful. Okay? And Chris Cadbury writes about that. And let me think. What else do I have to say about it? I guess that's what I have to say about that. And so you can get insight out of volume and open interest, but it's not necessarily on the surface. And we can have these conversations about it too. I can tell you more of my opinion if you want to hear more about my opinion about it. But that's how I feel about it. Okay. And for you middle-aged, I don't know what you're doing. Are you writing something about Al Einstein? You showing us another picture? I love the one I have. I think that's the classic of all classics. I mean, honestly, does that look like, what does that look like? That looks like a husband and a wife to me. It sure doesn't look like anything but a husband and a wife to me. I mean, she's probably like, 30 some odd years old at that point, 25, 30 years old. and he's probably like I don't know, what is he, like 60 some odd years old. To me, that looks like a husband and a wife. That sure doesn't look like anything else but that. And so they lived most of their lives together. And he married her mother. Does that look like a father and a daughter? I don't know. I don't think so. So, when I look at the slow stochastic and I look at the fast stochastic, I like to look at the differential between them and how they interact with each other. And you don't usually use that word relative, because I find that I think that is the joke on mankind altogether. That is pure mathematic. It's a pure mathematic joke as far as I'm concerned. They took a paper and a theory called, what is it? I'll give you the exact name of it. And you tell me where the word relative comes out of it. There's something about differentials, and maybe it's a translation in German to English, but guys and gals here, they hijacked that paper. There's no doubt about it. Science hijacked it. They even changed some of the formula in the E equals MC square. There's a lot to be said about that. So when I look at indicators, I look at them in a spatial way on how they interact with each other. And so that's what we do around here. So anyway, Bitcoin. Should I finish off the concept about Bitcoin? That's a cool one, What we're looking at there is it is doing what Home Shopping Network did back in the 80s, and at the same time, Bitcoin and its real price is doing exactly what the Home Shopping Home Shopping Network and Dolly and the cells after a few years of cloning advanced themselves dramatically. And so that's what we're really seeing here, is we're seeing that action. And that is pretty much what it's all about. Okay? And here is, let's see if I can do this. Can I do that? This is the title of Albert Einstein's, let's see if we can do this without interfering too much. Can we do that like this? I guess we could do it like that. Put it in there, paste. There it is. And bring that up on the board here. Here is the title of his paper in 1905 on the electrodynamics of moving bodies. Now, I like to mess with physicists a lot. When they start to get a little complicated in the sense of trying to talk about something in that basis, I remind them about this paper, and they always have to pause for a while before they can respond to me, because most of them don't know that title. They only know this title, as far as I'm concerned. They know that title of the paper, relative. And she's a relative, okay? But they don't know this paper. That almost every time I say that, I always stall them. They have to give a minute or two and go figure out what the hell is on the electrodynamics of moving bodies. They have to go, what? Oh, okay. That is his 1905 paper, okay? That's the title of it. But you don't see that. Instead, you see this. That's what you're seeing. I think they were making a joke out of him at the time. That's my opinion. Okay. So anyway, there it goes. There's middle age. Why would they block coffee? Oh yeah. So James says yes. I guess orders can be canceled at the last sale. Yeah, that's what the problem with high frequency trading is. That's why they don't make any real money in high frequency trading, except for from the commissions that they get, or the kickbacks they get from the exchanges or the brokerage houses. They get paid a fee to do high frequency trading. So if they break even, they're awful happy. because they're making the money off of the commissions and the kickbacks they get from the brokerage houses and the exchanges. So let's see. Middle Age says, my coffee trade is going great and wanted to see if you could check JO. I added more gold and silver calls yesterday. Oh yeah, sure. Let's go there. Today's been a fun day. You know, I'm not only that. I wrote a really interesting response to 11 dimensions of space. So I'm already been running hot, heavy, and straight all morning long. I am really rocking it here. Okay. Yeah, and so, in matter of fact, you can see here. You can see here. Here's matter of fact, if we put this up there, and I just want to make my point. I like making my point. I want to do it one more time, and that is let's see if we can do this. Can we do it like this? And paste that whole thing in? No, you can't. Yeah. You know, basically, that's his paper. It's known, you know, because he was looking at Maxwell's electrodynamic body stuff. I mean, you know, there's only one reason that the word relative is in there. And you can see the PDF has it right off. They steal it, and they just call it the relativity PDF, too. I'll show you that. And I'm just going to finish my point about this now, and we're going to go over to Middle Ages stuff here. Right there. You can see that. There's the PDF, and what do they do? It says, where is it at? It says relative in there. Oh, you can't see it. It's at the end. See, I'll do it this way. The heck with it. I'm done. I'm done making my point about that. All right, let's go over to coffee. And we'll go over and look also at gold and silver. Let's see, where is it at? It's in there, isn't it? There it is, right there. Okay. And so, what is that? That is, this is also traders, this is Coinbase. A little disappointed on its action yesterday. It went down to the what they call the syndicate bid. So 275 is the syndicate bid. So you see if it falls down to that. So it was at the syndicate bid. Now let's go find. There it is, right there. Yeah, let's look at it doing this morning. It's at another all-time high. So what Middle Age is saying is, my coffee trade is going great. I wanted to see if you could check JO. There it is, right there. It's just rocketing. Start off the day. And see, more gold and silver calls yesterday. Well, the problem with gold and silver, we talked about that yesterday too on that video. And the problem with that is, let's go over to it, and then we'll go over to James and answer his question. The problem is that here's gold, and the problem is that the central banks are utilizing it as a derivative for trading currencies. So in other words, you want to trade the euro pairs trade of the dollar. The central banks across the planet are functioning with a channel or an envelope of value, okay? And the U.S. Treasury defines manipulation of a currency when it steps outside that channel or envelope. Okay, so in other words, this would be considered a channel or envelope. Let me define it right there physically for you. Okay, right there. That would be a channel or an envelope. Okay, just like this here, if we grab a hold of it there, and you go this way, you can see there is a channel or an envelope right there. Okay, you see that? All right, now, what happens is that the U.S. Treasury has a way of defining manipulation, and they penalize or they, reward everybody who stays inside the channel, and anybody who steps outside this channel or envelope, they punish them. Okay, so now we don't see the punishments. They do it through the Federal Reserve and overnight free money and so forth. We talked about that yesterday also. All right, now. when you looking at gold and silver, instead, let's say you want to buy a pairs trade, and you're a central bank or a foreign entity, or like Citibank or Santander or Deutsche Bank or whoever, doesn't really matter. All right, and you want to buy dollars and you want to sell euros, but it would disturb the channel or envelope. What they do instead is they sell, instead of selling dollars, they sell something denominated in dollars. In other words, traded in dollars globally. And this way now they are short dollars, but they're not really, because now they're short gold or silver. Okay? So what they do then is they go hedge the short, not the currency, the short. So in other words, they go and they do like calls. And they buy calls or binaries on the gold, so that if they're short the gold, it goes up in value. They're not losing money on the gold because their hedge is protecting them. Instead, they're losing money on the short of the dollar. But they're not short the dollar, they're short the underlying product. And so they're losing in the value of the currency translation. And that's how they mess with gold and silver and anything else they want to mess with. Okay? All right, so when looking at this, you can see we are in a weekly buy here in gold. So the natural trend has been up. And the same thing with the silver, right there. The silver has also been in a weekly buy even further back, going back to here in the low 25s. And it has climbed up to the 27 from it. So the overall trend with the weekly buy has been up. And so that's why Middle Age uses options, and he can hold on positions and carry them for long periods of time without getting stopped out. Whereas when you're trading the hard delta or the underlying product itself, you can get stopped out. Okay, there it goes. How's that, Middle Age? Is that my answer to you? Is that working all right in all three ways? And then let's again show you where oil. You can see we've been in a weekly buy since here in the ETF of coffee, and it has gone from 38.5 to now it's trading at 42.5, or even better. You can see the high today is 43. So it's having a good old time there. All right, now let's go back to LSLS and see what LSLS says. May I ask? Let's get rid of that. Let's see, what is that? I don't. Okay, there we are. Cancel. One of these things will do it. Do I have the right mouse? What's up with this stuff? There we are. So, let's see if we can kill that. Why won't it let me kill it? Alright. It won't matter. We'll just hide it underneath like that. There we are. And so, now LSLS says, may I ask, if we want to develop the best algorithmic trading, which shall be used on the architecture code? Architecture, the code, the technical analysis, including the volume? I don't pay attention to volume. So I said there are some, it's like that analogy I used about you're hiking in the woods, you're up on a hill, you see a fire, you see smoke in the distance, but you don't know much more than there's possibly a fire. You don't know if it's a controlled fire. You don't know if it's a campfire where people are sitting around roasting food on it or making marshmallows. You don't know if there's anybody around it to begin with. There could be people in a controlled fire. If it's a wildfire, you don't have any idea. So there's a lot of missing variables when looking at volume. And I look at it as like looking at smoke in the distance. It's not always the best tool. Now, I've told you that looking at volume in open interest on options and the volume in options is much more insightful than volume in underlying products, solely because the derivatives market has really interfered with understanding the direction of a product. Pre-1976, volume had validity. Post-1976, the legalization and listing of listed options, volume has very low credibility. Does that make sense? Okay, now let's go back to LSLS. He says, or she says, code the technical analysis including volume and sentiment analysis. Ooh, sentiment, okay. That's kind of like an AI you're talking about now. code the technical analysis, including volume and sentiment analysis and fundamental analysis. Yeah, see the last two, sentiment analysis and fundamental analysis, you're really talking about an AI, an artificial intelligence. Janos here at Dukascopy has done a video about that. How to trade fundamental data and the lack of success of it since quantitative easing. Okay? So you're now going, and that's why I use quantitative analysis, not AI analysis. In the beginning, I used to think of it as an AI, but it's not an AI. An AI is a finite way of interpreting information. Okay? You collect up finite characteristics, as many characteristics as possible, but it's still finite. And you try to use that as a decision-making process from past performance. Okay? Whereas when you're doing quantitative, I am using a mathematical formula that is not finite. Okay? So it's x minus x equaling 2. Infinity. So in other words, my math will extrapolate data that has not been seen before. Whereas sentiment and technical analysis, technical analysis, if it's my technical analysis, yes, okay. Because you're talking about something that's interpreting something that may have never been measured before in its half-life form at the moment. Okay, does that make any sense? I am really jazzed this morning. You guys have got me really jazzed this morning. I jazzed myself earlier. I wrote a... Let me see if I can show you what I wrote here. I'm going to put this up on there. This will blow your minds if I can find it. Let's see. Let's see, we're going to find something. I think this thing is really working hard. So let's kill that. Okay, now what we're going to do is we are going to... Yeah, there it is right there. Okay. Okay, I'm going to put this up on the chat line. I've already posted it. It's something that I've been working on for 40 years, and I just answered something. Let's see if we can put it up there. And I'll show you how jazzed I've been. Oh, I don't know if it'll let me chat. You know what? I don't think it'll let me put it up on there. There. I have to go and open it up somewhere else. That's what I have to do. Okay, so here we go. Where is it at? So it's here. Is it there? Oh, I know what it is. I got to go to this. Here we go. We're going to post this up there, and I'll just show you what really jazzed me up today. Okay, so I go into there, and it's here. All right, so it's there. And that's cool. We'll find it in a second. There it is right there. Okay, now I need to open it up here. On trading, is it? It's probably in trading. Let's see if it does it there. Not there. Let's see if we can find it. And I'm watching questions too. I hope I've answered that, that thing there for you. Where is it at? Dukascopy, community predictions, fundamentals, technical analysis. Maybe that's it right there. Let's see. How about just Dukascopy YouTube? I'm going to do it that way. And let's find me live, and I'll sign in through Chicago Quant. And then I'm going to post this, and you'll be able to see how crazy I am for today. This is what jazzed me up today. How about YouTube? Let's go to YouTube instead. YouTube. And if anybody has a question about any product, just fire it out. I'll gladly, go after it. Not sure why it won't let me get there. There we go. There we go. Okay. It wants to take me to Suspicious Observer. No, I want to go to YouTube. I hate it when these machines try to think for you, you know? It's really irritating. Condescending, I'd say. There we go. There we are. Here I am. And no thanks. And I skip this. Okay. There's that. Now I got to find the chat line in here. Okay, there it is. And I think I copied it already, right? So can I post it? Alright. Let's see if I'm going to find it. How do you post things on this thing? I'm signed in. Ah, there it is. Paste. No, not that. Oh yeah, that'll help too. That's that. And then, see how it says relative at the end of that? That's what I was talking about before. That was saved. There you go. Okay, here we go. This is what jazzed me up this morning. I wrote this. Maybe too many characters. Is it too many characters? Why doesn't it enter it? Is it up there? No, it's not up there. Neither of them are up there. Now why isn't it up there? Okay. Let's see if I shorten that. Oh, I see. It's too many. Okay. So if we go like that and cut that. There we go. There you go. And then put this in there. Paste. And there we are again. So there they are. Okay. Now, if I refresh this, I'll be able to see it. Alright, there it is. There we go. To define, did I get it right? To define here. Okay, and the second one will come behind it. Right? That's to start off with. I'm doing string theory this morning. Anyway, I don't see any more questions. So if there's no other questions, we'll get. Oh, that's 243. That's why it won't do it. All right, so. How about that? Let's see if it does it that way. Copy that, and then where do I put it? Oh no, I see what it does. I cut that. There we go. I cut that. Cut that. Send that. Like that, and there we go, and then we put that in there like that. There we are. There we go. James says, so how successful would AI, Python, tensors, flow, I like that, tensors, flow, etc., be in live trading, predicting future ticks? Mine do fine. I guess it all comes down to your algorithm, really. How accurate your math is to begin with, predicting future events, even on a very short scale, seconds, minutes. You can see here. Here we go. I'll give you an example of mine. Here's an example of mine. Let's see if I can find it. Right there, maybe? Yeah, right there. Let's see if I grab that. Okay. So here is mine following. There is this. This is 169 contract bars. Each one of these bars is 169 contracts. So it shows you here. Right there, I guess it is, right there. It gave you the buy signal there, and then it gave you a sell signal. I guess what we'll do is we'll change the color of that, make it white, and see if we can make it thickerish, like that. I better grab it before it goes. And then it threw you into a sell right there, one back, of course, right there. And then you can see it goes down in value. Then you see it throws you into a buy right there. It goes up for a couple of ticks, and you can make money off of that. And then it throws you back into the sell right there, and you can see it goes down in value. Then you can see right here, and my robot will buy it there, and so then it can sell it out without me having to be involved in it. And then puts you into a cell right there. You can see it goes down in value again, like so. Is that? Oh, you're not seeing it all. There you are. Now you can see it. See that, James? So then it goes into a buy right there, just one. It's wrong, and now that goes into a sell right there, and it's a win. Then it goes back into a buy, and it's a buy, and it's a win again. All those I was mentioning to you are all wins, and so then that's what's giving the signal right there. One over. So that puts it into the sell there, and see it goes down in value again like that. You know, right there, down in value. Then it goes. Now it just gave a buy. This is live, so you can see the success of it. And so then it puts you into a buy. Notice that they're starting to become weaker. The first 3 minutes can be very volatile. Now, it goes into the sell here. Where is it? Right there. And we're in the middle of it. Now it's come out of it. See, it's becoming even weaker and weaker, and accuracy is diminishing from the first wildness. And so now it just had it had the buy here. It had the buy there, and it only went up into here, and now the sell is there. Grab a hold of it again. Sell's right there, and now the accuracy is increasing again. And there's a fluctuation. The difference between the time manifold. This is the Bollinger Bands. I think they're Bollinger Bands, right? Or are they mine? I think these are Bollinger Bands. I put them up there for the fun of it. I used to do stuff with John a long, long time ago, live on TV back in the 80s. So I put the Bollinger Bands on there just to watch them function, and I think what the blue is style. I'm trying to figure out what the blue is. It's not a moving average. It's It's part of my math. I think the blue is. And so, look, got a hold of it. So then it goes into a buy there, goes back into a sell there, right there. You can see the win of it again. Then it goes back into a buy here. You'll be able to watch the video on this too. All right. Anyway, I'm out of here, traders. James, we should keep this conversation going. Come on back in tomorrow. We'll see you tomorrow as TGIF. Thank goodness it's going to be Friday. Hooray for me. All right. Doc from North America saying arrivederci. Happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you, to all our trading friends. Ta-ta for now, traders.